The following is a presentation of Playfly Sports Properties.
Peyton, 24-7 lead, and you guys did have 540 yards of offense. When did you sense that it might be slipping away? And the last drive in regulation, when you got down, looked like it might be a play to try to get in the center of the goalpost, and it didn't wind up there. Can you talk about that drive?
Yeah, I don't feel like I ever felt like it was slipping away. I still was, I was 100% convinced we were going to win the game. It was a tie ball game with about 6 minutes left, and so we're going to win the game. We're going down the field to win it. And we went down the field. Obviously, we weren't able to finish the drive off. We called a play to the right. I haven't watched the film, so I'm not quite sure on what happened. I kind of looked back. I saw we had, maybe a little penetration. I'm not sure, but either way, I don't know.
Interesting words from quarterback Peyton Thorne after the heartbreaking loss on senior day in the woodshed against the Hoosiers of Indiana, 39-31 in double overtime. Spartans lose yet another game after a 2-game win streak. Heartbreaking loss. I'm your host, Jason Strayhorn, along with my co-host, Jehuu Caulcrick. This is Sparta. Jehuu, we're going to get right into it, hit this thing head on. It was disappointing to say the least. The performance offensively and defensively, and most importantly, the special teams were a big disappointment for Michigan State this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Big disappointment. That was just, if you're a Spartan fan, if you're a former player or anything associated with Michigan State, that was just a big kick in the gut, that game. And, just like Peyton said in that post-game press conference there, I was like him. There was no point in time where I was like, man, we're going to lose this game. I felt like, wow, we're making an easy game hard. And, but unfortunately it didn't come away. You go from, being in a position to become bowl eligible, and the next week, you're playing for an opportunity to play somewhere warm, either, maybe in Arizona somewhere or in Florida somewhere, extend your season. But now you're going on the road in a hostile environment in State College at Happy Valley, with your lifeline on the line there. So tough game.
Yeah, definitely a tough game. Spartans now 5-6, and yet one more game to play for that all-important 6th victory to be bowl eligible, as you just said, Jehuu. As we travel to Happy Valley, we're going to break down this game here in a second, but be sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. Follow the guys, me, Jehuu, and Otis Wiley. Our show is every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. And get to our link tree if you want to have Jehuu come to your Christmas party or your holiday event. He can be there for you. And all of the platforms are all there for you on any of the links in the bios and any of our social media platforms. Want to subscribe if you want to win tickets. Lots of free tickets to offer. No more football for this season, but a ton of basketball, volleyball, wrestling, whatever that tickles your fancy. We'll have it for you there. Register ThisIsSparta MSU on the link tree in our bio.
If you invite me to a party, you better have good food and good drink.
Oh, man, and just no pools. No pool. That's all I can advise. And if you don't know, check out one of the previous episodes. I don't know exactly which one. Do not let Jehuu in your pool. but he is a good time, everybody. So if you like to book him, he's available there. Going into our Spartan game day summary presented to you by IHOP. Gather with family and friends for IHOP's new holiday treats like the new Ginger Snap Apple Thick and Fluffy French Toast. Pick up an IHOP gift card and get a $5 bonus card when you buy $25 or more in IHOP gift cards now through January 1st, 2023. Put a holiday smile on your plate at IHOP.
Man, before we jump, let's give a shout out to IHOP. I had friends in town from Oklahoma this weekend and went to the Playfly hospitality tent there. And, first thing you get there, 9:30 in the morning, a nice buffet set up, food. Those pancakes are on point. The different syrups, the bacon, everything. Big shout out to IHOP. Made me look like a VIP. My guests felt like VIP, in that tent and having that good food.
Gotta love IHOP. We love them. Absolutely. Thank you, IHOP. We love you. All right, man, we're going to get right into this. The defense had struggles today, Saturday against the Hoosiers. You look at the mobile quarterback, Dexter Williams, a guy who just torched Michigan State defensively with his legs. Did not do it through the air, JU, but definitely with his legs.
Yeah, absolutely. You see over here, just a simple, he's faking the jet sweep. It's a modification of a zone read, but going with the jet sweep there. And, you got to stay home. You got to have a spy on him. And you can't let a quarterback, torch you like that. So, kudos to him. He's had himself a day running the ball, but, defensively, we have to, corral and, tackle the ball carrier.
Dexter Williams, 16 carries for a net of 86 yards. Actually had 113 with his legs, but was sacked in college football. The sacks count against the rushing total. So 86 net shows up in the stat sheet. But just an elusive guy all day long. Did not beat him with his arm at all. Only 7 yards through the air until the second overtime. But plays like this, bad angle there by Xavier Henderson, tried to click his heels to get him out of bounds. They reviewed that play, not to go the Spartans' way. Somehow it still was 7 total for Indiana early in that ball game. Then you look at the next play by Sean Shivers defensively. Break this play down here, Jay.
Yeah, it's just guys being, defensively, guys not in position to make the play, guys getting sucked in and putting themselves in way to be blocked there. This is something that should have been, no more than a gain of 3 yards there. You have guys crashing down, linebackers aren't scraping over the top to get in position. There, you have to read your keys defensively, and we did not do that on this play defensively. When the line's crashing down, that linebacker should be scraping over the top there to get in position to make this play.
Yeah, that's Cal Halliday uncustomarily missing a tackle.
Yeah,
and when you look at this play, with the very beginning, the design of it. When you look at Indiana, how they set up, they had trips to the left. We're in press coverage. And then a receiver split out wide to the right. There was only 5 defenders in the box on that play. And how many offensive linemen do we have on any given play?
Right. But, the thing too, you see the guard and tackle are pulling, as a linebacker, you should be in that, but you read those keys, follow the pullers. The guards will take you to the play a lot of the times. There's no fullback in there to take you to the play. So you have to read your keys. The line pulled and, how they got sucked inside. I'm not sure what he was seeing or if he just lost the ball. But he should have been, outside there to either, take on one of those blocks and hope the other people come and corral to the tackle. But that did not happen, obviously. So, the run defense was not there for Michigan State this game.
Yeah, it seemed like the players played a little stiff, a little cold, not really getting after it at this point. This is in the third quarter right here, right after halftime, when Michigan State has a 17-point lead at this point. This is where Indiana cuts it to 10. And we go to another defensive play, not really a defensive play. This is a special teams when you look at this one. Jalen Lucas, kickoff return.
All game long, the special teams was a killer for Michigan State. Starting with the very opening kickoff, Michigan State won the coin toss, deferred to the second half. They kicked the ball off at the beginning, and, Lucas has a big kick return, getting Indiana in positive yards. And then, they go back again. Michigan State ends up scoring, puts it up 31-14, kick the ball off, and this happens. We have guys running down and not having contained. That's the issue that you see. You have the guys on the outside, the ones, they should have contained outside. The twos inside there, is numbered from the outside in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And whatever side if you're on the right, you're R1, R2, R3, R4, R5. R4 and 5 and L4 and 5, those guys are what they call ball men. Those guys are designated to hawk and seek to the ball like a heat-seeking missile. We have guys over there that are getting blocked. So those guys are not in position to make the plays because they're getting blocked, and you have to avoid, if the defender, whatever the way the defender's coming at you, you avoid to the right and get back in your lane. We had people avoiding and staying on blocks and not getting back in their lane. So that's why big plays happen like this on special teams, because guys aren't staying in their lanes. And when they avoid like this, you should be avoiding to the right of the defender and then get back in your lane. But we didn't have that happen. So, and this is what happens when you don't, do your job on kickoff cover.
Just an unbelievable play right there. I believe that was like an 80-yard return. The play before that was 70-yard scamper by Shivers from the offensive side of the ball. Big plays for Indiana kept them in the ball game. And you look at the overall stats, Michigan State had 540 yards of total offense to Indiana's 288 yards. When you look at the stats, JU, just looking at 90 plays for 540 yards, 51 plays for 288 yards. You look at time of possession, Indiana 23 minutes, 23 seconds to Michigan State 36 minutes and 25. It's like that's a season high time possession for Michigan State. And yet they lose the ball game. When you look at just the stats, 9 of 18 on third downs to 3 of 12. When you look at those stats, who could possibly think that Michigan State would lose that ball game if you look at it from a statistical standpoint?
That's a great question. If you lined up Ray Charles and you lined up Stevie Wonder and you read those stats to them and they just listen to everyone would say, oh yeah, Michigan State won. They control the game with the time of possession. They controlled the first down. They had 2 running backs over 100 yards rushing. They had over 500 total yards of offense. The opposing team only had 200-something yards of total. There's no way that Michigan State loses this game. That's what you say. A blind person, can diagnose that this will be a win for Michigan State if you have those stats. But obviously that was not the case. And at the end of the day, you have to play well on all 3 phases of the game: offense, defense, and special teams. I think the offense came to play, the defense did not, and the special teams did not either.
Not at all. When you look at the special teams, one of the hidden yardage points, so statistically, if you look at it, will be the kickoff return yards. Michigan State, 2 kickoff returns for 40 yards. Indiana, 6 kickoff returns, 192 yards. Nick Saban used to always say every 100 yards of offense, no matter where it is, equals 6 points. It's generally what you said. So right there, you're talking about a 12 to 14 point swing in just kick return yardage.
Yeah, you got to look at it though. That stat that you said Coach Saban would say, so they had almost 200 yards of kick return yardage. So let's look at it. One's for a touchdown. The second one was setting up a touchdown in the second play, putting them in that position, to have Michigan State on the heels, the very second play of the game. So that's where those hidden yardage is happening. A lot of people want to focus on offense and defense side of the ball. And sometimes the special teams get lost in the mix there. Special teams don't get as much time in practice as it deserves. But at the end of the day, those hidden yards and those things can cost you games. And that's what it did today on Saturday against Indiana.
No doubt. You look at the offensive performance of Michigan State, running the ball wasn't so bad. You had not the killer bees this time. This was actually Jalen Berger and Elijah Collins combined for over 200 yards. Berger, 21 carries, 119 yards net. Elijah Collins had a day, 19 carries, 107 yards, and 2 touchdowns for Elijah Collins. And we're going to get into the breakdown of the offensive side of the ball, and you look at this particular first play, flea flicker to Keon Coleman. See, the running game was working. They respected the running game, so these plays work early on. You
Yeah,
see.
this play here, because it's the first play of the game. It's a product of the last 2 weeks where Michigan State has rushed the ball for over 100 yards in both those games. And now this is why something like this can happen. And a good job. It's just a little wrinkle to the flea flicker here, because if you see that play, you see Thorne hand the ball to Berger and slides a little to his left, make it look like he's running out of the way. So what's going to happen is that defense is going to collapse on a ball carrier and take away the pressure from Thorne. So Thorne needs to get some more air under that, give his receivers a chance to catch and run. He can't hang that up too long. But that's a great job. Open up the game with excitement, open up the game, get everyone into it, get the offense into it. And that's what happened here. Like I said, Michigan State's offense did a tremendous job, this game. The offensive line played well. The running backs played well. Thorne played well. The receivers, they made big plays, just like this one here. So, kudos to the offense for Michigan State. But you can't, at the end of the day, it's a whole cohesive unit game.
I think that, what you're saying is partly true, Jay. Mostly they played good, especially in that first half of the game when you look at the offense performance. But it was very up and down when you look at the game and you start watching the film again. Here, we're going to show the third down and goal situation that Michigan State was in early in the ball game that did not work. Peyton Thorne rolls out on a little bootleg, can't find anybody, and throws the ball away. And what do you see next?
Well,
fourth and goal, and look at where the ball is. This is eerily. Look, take a mental note of this right here. The kicker, we can't call his name. Easy chip shot from the 10-ish yard line in the left hash. He makes it. How about that, Jehuu?
Yeah, and Thorne had Malik Carr on this play. So if he just catches that ball, sets, Malik Carr opens up. What Carr did was, as a receiver, you have to find the soft spot, especially when you're in the red zone, especially when you're inside your 10 in the end zone area there. You have to find the soft spot. You can either break it out to find that soft spot to see where the linebackers are, or just sit. And that's what Malik Carr did. Malik Carr came out, turned down like he was blocking, snuck out, and just found that sweet spot. Boom, right there, throwing to Carr. He had two guys right there.
Two guys open.
Throwing it to. But he didn't do that, and he kind of got rushed, and he was pressed a little bit. But he had Carr and Reed right there. Just throw it. Let your players make plays. Let your players make plays. Trust your players to make plays in that situation there. Don't press yourself and don't get out of your element.
Yeah, you saw that when he made the bootleg turn to his left, and he saw a defensive end in his face a little bit, not too close. He panicked a little bit and decided to bail. I think you're right. I think that he here can make that throw, set his feet and make the throw.
Yeah. Even a pass like that, Stray, like, I'm not a quarterback, but I don't think you need to set your feet for a 2-yard. You're not throwing it too far. Just throw it. Let your receivers make plays.
A little flick of the wrist, huh? A little flick of the wrist.
Just a flick of the wrist, right there. Boom. Let your guys make plays. You trust them all the time to make plays. Trust them this time.
Yeah, so this is the first half thing. Now, here's the end of the first half after two we're talking about right there.
Exactly.
Keon Coleman is covered on that play, but it's Keon. You have Keon. You have Jaden Reed and Keon. You'll take them one-on-one any day against whoever and allow them to make a play. He didn't do that on the previous play. This one, he does do, but the decision for Peyton, it's a little up and down in his decision-making process. Like, okay, I'm going to try to run the ball, use my legs. Now I'm going to stop and cut back in instead of trust my speed, on going to the right and to the left. And then now, okay, I'm just going to trust my receiver. I'm going to stare at him, but I'm going to trust him. And he makes the play.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of those places, they line him up and say, my guy's better than your guy, and we're gonna prove it right here. And he threw it to Coleman. And that's why it's so disappointing and so frustrating to see that the previous drive going to the tunnel end zone there, when he had two guys wide open and didn't trust it and trust himself to make that play. So it's like you hit on, it's that inconsistency. That's why Michigan State's in the hole that we're at right now. And at the end of the day, too, I know we're talking a lot about, the players, executing on the field. But we also have to put some of the strain and pressure on the coaches to put these players in the best position to be successful. All right. I am not, as an offensive coordinator, I am not gonna be at my own 2-yard line when I have a back like Elijah Collins, that's a bruiser. I'm not gonna sit in the gun and run a zone out and run a zone read, put the ball in my quarterback's hand to run it. If I'm going to do anything with the ball in the quarterback's hand, it's going to be throw the ball. But if not, I'm going to hand the ball to my backs and say, you go and you get 2 yards. The coaches have to put these players in the best position to be successful, and we did not do that offensively at times. That's why there were some of those points that were, taken off the board that we couldn't get. And also, too, that's why we're in a position to have to kick field goals, because we need to put our heads down, run the damn football. Run the damn football. If you're on inside the 5-yard line, you have a bruising back that's proven time and time again that he can pick up those tough yards. Run the damn football 4 times in a row. Let your O-line do their thing.
I agree with you. There's no doubt about it there. I mean, you talk about 4th down conversions for Michigan State in this ball game. 1 of 4 on 4th downs. I mean, we could do a whole show breaking down the 4th down plays, and it will make you sick. As Coach Mel Tucker loves to say, watching the film of the 4th down plays as an offensive lineman, and I know for you as a running back, JU, it makes you sick because personnel-wise, ability-wise, we have the players. The structure and the intensity in which they go about the business gives them no chance in order to convert. 25% is unacceptable on 4th down. Those are hidden turnovers.
Right.
That's 3 turnovers. That's what that is.
The reason why, Stray, is we try to be too damn cute.
Yeah.
We try to be too cute we try to play trick 'em dick 'em offense on 4th down as opposed to, doing the bread and butter. You're in the Big Ten. It's cold outside. You run the football. When you run
downhill, baby. Downhill.
You have 2 backs for 200 yards. Indiana did not want to tackle these guys when they're going downhill. These running backs were finally sticking their foot in the ground and getting north and south. We have to run the football. You're playing Big Ten football.
Yeah. Look at the second half of this ball game. We're talking about the inconsistencies of Michigan State offensively. Here is we open up the second half early in the third quarter, and Peyton Thorne makes a good decision. There's a great route by Barker, just misses the ball. That's 3rd down and 6. Instead of a 3rd down conversion, 1st down and 10 from roughly the 47-yard line, you have to punt the ball.
Yeah, this play right here is just it's all mental. It's all mental on Barker's part there. That's an easy pitch and catch. You can't be like, okay, we're up 17. We can be lethargic out here. It's all mental. You have to, make a good throw like Thorne did, a good read, good throw, put the ball in the right position. He has to come up with this catch. Barker has to come down with this catch. There's no excuse for it whatsoever.
No, none at all. And then you move on to the touchdown run here. Now look at this. The offensive line looks great here. You got Elijah Collins running with a full head of steam, strong, great balance. Look how he doesn't get touched until he's 4 or 5 yards down the field.
There's a drill that you do for this play exactly. And if you're a running backs coach, get this clip here and show your running backs. And all you do is you hold 2 bags together. You blow the whistle. The back puts his nose against it. Pump his legs, blow the whistle. It opens up. This is the exact same thing you practice day in and day out. Elijah Collins did that exactly. This offensive line, we're making movement. Look at that. The offensive line pushes the guy 3-4 yards downfield. Collins is patient, back in there, grab their back. His legs are moving. The reason why I say pump your legs is so the people that are falling down can't have a still target to grab a hold of. You keep your legs moving, and once you see daylight, boom, you explode through that. And that's exactly what Collins did here. And the thing that pisses me off is we can be, on our 40-yard line, our 30-yard line, and run the ball like this. But then we get inside the 5 and inside the 2, we decided we want to be cute and do zone runs and put the ball out of our best players' hands. The coaches have to put the players in the best position to be successful.
Got to be downhill. That's when you're most dangerous, especially with a team like Indiana, who really doesn't have an answer for you if you go mano-a-mano and just lean against them and come fire off the ball and press them like you did there. I mean, the offensive line looked beautiful coming off the ball. That was a tremendous surge right there. It gave Elijah Collins all that room. As you said, just kept his legs moving, and the crease happens. He wasn't looking for cutbacks. You see later on in the game, and when the game's on the line, he starts looking for cutbacks because the line wasn't coming off with that same intensity. And you're having those zone read runs, those outside zone plays on 4th and 1 that are mind-boggling to guys like you and me. Look at what happens right after that touchdown. Michigan State has the ball now. Now it's, the kick return has just happened. It's 10-point game here. And Peyton Thorne throws the ball, it gets tipped. And Indiana comes down with it.
Mm-hmm.
This is a huge play in the third quarter. The tip drill here, you got the young freshman, Jeremy Bernard here, just didn't seem, it looked a little bit out of sorts there. The ball hits him, he kind of falls down. Looks like the moment was a little big for him right there. Piss down your leg.
Absolutely.
Get that ball down now. You hit your hands, get it down.
Yeah,
tried to knock it down. I mean, man.
This play here, if you see too, and this is getting greedy. My grandpappy will always say, you never go broke taking a profit. And what that means is, you work your way downfield. You take what the defense gives you. If you look at this play here, you see Malik Carr in the middle of the field on the hash, wide open. It's going to be a 6-yard gain. Boom, right there. Throw it. You never go broke taking a profit. You never go broke taking a profit. That's like if you throw the Carr and he gets tackled right there, that's like a good 5-yard run. All right. Thorne needs to stop staring down his receiver and go through his reads. Unfortunately, the ball was tipped and everything like that. But that happened. But you make it easy on yourself. Don't put yourself in a position to have distress. That's like I said earlier. It's like the Spartans trying to find a way to make an easy game hard, and any way that we could. Even at this point here, all Indiana wanted to do was get out of town. It was cold. They were on a 7-game losing streak, and we made it tough and kept them in the game and gave them something to believe in. And you can't do that. If you're going to be a good team, if you're going to be a contender, you have to find ways to step on teams' throats when they're down. And we did not do that this past Saturday.
No. I mean, after this interception, Indiana was able to go down, kick the field goal to bring it within 1 score late in the ball game. Then going into more offensive play for Michigan State, you see Elijah Collins now here with a little cutback run and not being able to get anything. This is 3rd and goal. 3rd and goal for Michigan State here with 33 seconds to go in the ball game. Everyone talked about this. This is what we opened with Xavier Henderson up there with Peyton Thorne, and Peyton said, hey, the play was to go to the right. I was trying to get out of there, so what everyone's wanting to know, where was that ball getting centered? Was it trying to get centered for Ben Patton to make the kick? Looks like it was. And yeah.
Yeah, I think the thought process in this was this. We have a left-footed kicker. Or our kicker, has struggled all year. What we're going to do is we're going to try to run a ball. We're going to center the ball in the middle of the field. We're going to run a play that's designed to go to the right. And if we break it for a big one to the right, great. If not, we're going to be centered and be in a position to kick a field goal and win the game and get out of there on senior day. But as much as I praise Elijah Collins, as much as I love the guy, as a back, you're a senior, you have to know that this is a freshman mistake. This is something that happens when you're a freshman or a sophomore, even that. Because, like I said, another quote from my grandpappy, we forget the objective is to drain the swamp when we're up to our ass in alligators. All right. And
man, your grandpappy is something else, man.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Elijah Collins at that time, forget the objective is to win the game. He didn't have to win it himself. I know, I get it. I've been a running back. I've been in that position there where it actually cost us a game. You're feeling your mojo. You're rushing over 100 yards. It's senior day. You want to put that exclamation point on it. But at the end of the day, you have to do what play's called. And that's why football is the most selfless game you can play out there, because it takes 11 guys to do everything right and what they're supposed to do for 5 seconds. There's no other game like that. And that time, there were 10 guys doing what they were supposed to do, and one guy did not do what he was supposed to do. And like I said, you forget the objective is to drain the swamp when you're up to your ass in alligators.
Jay, I want you to look at this play again. So if he keeps this play side, if he goes to the right, the blocking's there.
The blocking's there.
It's absolutely there. I think he can score here.
He can score. He could go bounce to the right, go scoot, and if he even has to go chase the pylon, he could do that. But the blocking was there. The play is there. There's no need. There's one guy, and there's 4 defenders on the left. There's no need to go to the left there. The blocking is there. You just have to go. And I get it. I've been in Elijah Collins' shoes before. All the praise I give him, I have to give him some of the blame on this, because I love the kid. I want him to come back again next year. I think he's a hell of a back. But that time, he had to run the play that was called.
Yeah. Which then leads us to the all-important field goal. Hey, this is 2 yards deeper than the one that we just showed a few moments back. It just had no chance. I just no chance.
You know, this is absolutely inexcusable. We cannot have this. And everyone gives me grief because I have a gripe with kickers. This here is why I have a gripe with kickers. You have one job to do. It's your time now. And, you know, you had all the hee-hees and ha-has last week. And now, like my grandpappy would also say, the same thing that make you laugh will make you cry. And that's what happened right there. You have to be able to execute. You have to be able to execute on all phases. Special teams at Michigan State has to get better. From the long snapper, the holder, and the kicker. The only shining star in special teams is Bryce Behringer, the punter. And I will even classify him as a defensive player as opposed to a special teamer. Mm-hmm. You can't miss that. You're here to do one job. In practice, you lollygag around, you do all these drills on the side while everybody's, busting their butts, getting ready to put you in that position to be successful. And we talked to this kicker last week, and it's a lonely position. I get it. But when you're called upon to do your part, you have to do your part.
Yeah, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You've got to execute when it's your number and your number's called in that situation right there. Super unfortunate for him, and obviously for the seniors for that play not to go. That's not the only play that lost the game, but let's be real. That is a makeable kick. Then you go to overtime. You have a similar situation. You block a kick from Indiana in the first overtime. Then it's a bad snap from Michigan State. A bad snap. Just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
As in special teams.
It gives them life. You see the students are out there with no shirts on, risking their own lives with the bad snap. I mean, literally,
we should not have been in this position. We should not have been in this position at this time, this point in time in the game. We should have been back at the cars, having our favorite toddies to warm us up. These students should have been at the Land Shark or at Rick's already, enjoying the victory. These seniors
or the rooftop bar at the Graduate, the Rock Bar.
Absolutely, they should have been up there at the Rock Bar and looking at Spartan Stadium and saying, "Wow, we just did it.
One hell of a win we just had."
Yes, exactly. We shouldn't have been in this position at all. And we put ourselves in this position from not playing in all three phases and from not being in the best position to be successful. It's that simple.
What we're going to do too, let's show like Spartan Nation real quick how two other programs were able to execute a last-second field goal this very day. Home against Illinois. Illinois has them on the ropes. What happens here?
Well, Illinois blew that game. All they needed was to get a first down, and they couldn't do that. And then Moody comes in and does his job, does what he's supposed to do.
That, folks, is the difference. I know it seems that it's a big gap. It feels like it's a long way away, but Mel Tucker talks about this. It's not that big of a difference between those teams that are at the top, aside from a Georgia. The rest of those teams in the top 5, 6, top 10, and then the rest of the country. It's not that big of a delta as far as execution is concerned. Talent, obviously, is something that we have to continue to work on. Having recruits there this past weekend and watching that game, you hate to see that. You hate the temperature's cold. The one thing that's going to warm those young guys up is a nice victory party at the end of the ball game. And they weren't able to do that, JU. Just a tough overall game for Michigan State football-wise.
Yeah, absolutely. And, one of the big things is, from someone, people could be watching this and say, wow, these guys are tough on these players. I get it. I've been in that position. I've been criticized. I've been praised. I've been cheered. I've been booed. It would not be doing us. This is not that. Our show is, we love the Spartans. We're from Michigan State, but we're just like a fan sitting back at home. We're frustrated as well. We see that and we talk about it. This is the type we want that atmosphere with this show, this barbershop feel where you talk sports, you talk about it. But that's all we can do. We wouldn't be the show that we are. We wouldn't be the former players that we are if we're not talking like it is. Because you can go through your group text with former players. I'll go through mine. And it's, this whole conversation, you're talking about that. And I think, if you're a fan, this is something that you would appreciate as a fan. So, we're going to keep it straight with you. We're going to tell it like it is. When it's good, it's good. When it's bad, we'll say it.
Yeah, 100%. We're going to say it. We're going to tell it how it is because we want what's best for those young men because we understand how the end of this story goes, too. We understand what it feels like to walk around campus having made those plays. And we also understand how it is to walk around campus having not made those plays. And I don't know about you, Jay. Well, I do know about you, JU. I'll take making the plays every time over not making the plays in situations such as that because it can stay with you. Now, it doesn't define you unless you allow it to define you. But in situations like that, you have to stay in the moment and do what you've been trained to do. Do not think about what it's going to be like if I make this, what it's going to be like if I make this block, if I do this touchdown, if I cut back. Don't think about all the what ifs. Think about what you need to do right now. Right now. No, not a second from now. Right now when you're in those moments. And that's how guys like Kenneth Walker, as you've seen a year ago, are able to execute the way they do. He doesn't think about the outside. He thinks about what he's doing right there. That's why he works so hard every day. When we see things like that, we appreciate it as former players because we know what it takes. It's really not focusing on something outside of what everybody else thinks. You're not being extraordinary and thinking further. You're being extraordinary by not thinking further. You get more with less. And that's what we want We want what's best for the Michigan State football players and any athlete at Michigan State, because we understand how hard it is on a daily basis to do what you do. You've got class, you've got all these outside situations, social calendars, coaches screaming at you, guys like us, old fat guys like us talking bad about you. But look, we also love you. We love you hard and we love you well. So on to more brighter news. JU. We're going to talk.
And we want you to go get that NIL money.
NIL money. We're going to talk NIL. Yeah, that MSU basketball team, baby. We had a little show. Otis and I got on there and did a little show about the Indianapolis game, the big victory in double overtime. We had 2 double overtime games this week. How about that? Michigan State basketball over Kentucky just annihilated the Wildcats in this double overtime. They go on to beat Villanova at home, had a big lead. It kind of shrank a little bit, but won 73-71. In JU, you and I talked about the debut, what it was going to be in the top 25. Did we not?
We did.
JU said, look, we had a little argument on them. He said, they're going to be 21. I said, they're going to be top 15. Then you said, I said, at least top 20 is what I said.
You did say top 15. You did say that. I'll give you that.
Top 12. Michigan State basketball makes its debut in the top 25 at number 12 today in the AP poll.
And
outstanding job for
funny thing at the football game pregame, Coach Izzo was down there, so I went up to him. I was, ha-haing with him. I was like, "Damn, Coach, heck, you guys are the cardiac kids. Heck of a season so far, man." He's like, "Hey, don't praise me yet. It's too early." And just like that, it is too early. So top 12, enjoy those. You're going to get more primetime games. As Michigan, we have to learn to finish. We get these leads. We're a great first half team, and then we're great end of the game. We can show resolve. So let's have that consistency all the way through. But hey, this team's going to be fun to watch. I love watching them play defense, and they look like they're having fun out there, and they look like a close-knit group that have been doing it for a long time and enjoyed themselves this summer, getting better.
They look outstanding. You're right. Fun to watch. And look, be sure to follow This is Sparta MSU, because JU's going to have some nice tickets for you guys. Anybody that wants to come to that nice, toasty Breslin Center to watch the Spartans get out there and annihilate the competition. Don't forget to follow us on all of our social platforms. This is Sparta MSU. We're talking Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and even TikTok for the hip-hop, the young ones. You know what I mean? Every week we're on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. on any of those platforms. And you can also go to anywhere else that you get your podcast. Michigan State will be out west, man, in Oregon at the Phil Knight Invitational coming up on Thanksgiving. How about that?
Nice. I think I might subscribe to the podcast so I can win tickets to hoop games.
You're going to be out there you're going to be one handing them out, JU. That's you.
I want to sit back and, win these tickets and sit back. Heck, there's no other podcast that gives away tickets like this. There's no other podcast that does that.
No, not like
week
this.
in and week out. So, we're gonna pat ourselves in the back because we take care of our fans. We take care of our subscribers.
Yeah, go to our socials and see the tickets. Look at the seats too. We're not talking no nosebleeds. Great seats. If you go to the socials, you'll see some of our fans, our followers that have won the tickets and they've taken pictures and say, "Hey, thanks. This is Sparta. Thank you." Because if I wasn't in the booth, I'd take those seats. I definitely would, all day long. Michigan State plays Alabama on Thanksgiving night, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. They're going to Rolling Tide in basketball. Thank God, it's basketball. But
that's going to be after my Buffalo Bills take down the Detroit Lions.
Oh my God, sacrilegious! They didn't stay, so they had the game here. Talk about that, JU. The Buffalo Bills had to cancel their home game because it was too much damn snow and come over to Detroit and play in the Detroit in the Ford Fieldhouse against the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
You went to that ball game.
I was at that ball game, and great strategy by the Bills. They were the home team, but they chose the visiting team sidelines. They chose the visiting team locker room, so it's just like a test run for them. They already won once there, in Ford Field. Now it's an opportunity to come back on Thanksgiving and win again. And for all the listeners out there that are Lions fan, you're not a true fan if you're not throwing hate at me, for rooting against you guys. I want all the hate and all the heat that you guys have after watching this. So when it's over, I can have the last laugh at you guys.
No, Jehuu definitely a glutton for punishment. He loves this stuff, and he knows they got Josh Allen over there. They get so be careful. That's why you're not getting a lot of hate, because you got a pretty damn good quarterback, Jehuu. Also, more issues for the tunnel issues for the school down the road this past weekend against Illinois.
Was another issue in the Michigan tunnel at halftime. Brett Bielema came out of the locker room and was yelling that Michigan was running late and yelled for all of the different officials to hold Michigan back, but they let Michigan go, and then Illinois was held back and entered the fields late. So still some issues in that tunnel. They added 2 minutes onto the clock because Illinois had to come out late because of it.
Hey, in the words of my old running backs coach, Bobby Williams / head coach of Michigan State, Strayhorn, that's a pile of you know what. Because that's crazy, man. I don't. We still don't have it figured out. Prosecutors got this, and it's just ridiculous what's going on over there. And they got every coach. So it's what's the common denominator? We got Penn State pissed off, Michigan State fight. Now Illinois, problems. What's the common denominator? You tell me, Jehuu. I don't know. Explain it to me like I'm a kindergartner. What is the common denominator in the tunnel incident? Maybe where it's at, maybe who it's against. They got to figure this out, man. This is getting ridiculous.
But we all know those guys. They do nothing wrong. They invented the game of football. They're, whatever. But, yeah, I'm done with that. I'm done with them. Let's move on. I don't want to talk about them.
No. let's stop talking about them. Again, Michigan State had the disappointing loss. Now 5-6, one chance at redemption as they go on the road. 4 p.m. kickoff in Happy Valley. And we're going to come back on Thursday night to talk more about that game. And we're going to have a special guest for everybody. A very special guest. A Spartan great. A guy who played in the Super Bowl, too.
Super Bowl winner.
Yeah, Super Bowl champion. Michigan State Spartan. That's the teaser for Thursday. All right. Tease it up, baby.
I'm clutching my pearls.
All right, everybody. Let's put a bow on that one. For Jehuu Caulcrick, I'm Jason Strayhorn. This is Sparta. Have a good night. God bless. And go green.
Go white.